Live from Whitney Media, 1460 WVOX, this is Your Community in Action with Arlene Salmon. Arlene Salmon is the former Westchester Director of the National Cancer Society and the Arthritis Foundation. Now, Your Community in Action. Here's Arlene Salmon.
Good afternoon and welcome to Your Community in Action here at WVOX 1460 on your AM dial. And you know where else? On WVOX.com on your computer's internet, wherever you are in the entire world. Isn't that great? You can listen to WVOX no matter where you are. You don't have to be local. But if you're local, we hope you're enjoying the show as well. For those of you, it's time for you to take your lunch break if you're at work. So take your lunch break. Take out your sandwich or your salad and turn on your computer and sit and listen to us and have a hearty lunch. Those of you who are home doing whatever, it's time to turn up the sound so that you don't get disturbed and you could hear us, because this is an important show, as always. Your Community in Action is a show that is brought to you so that you will know what resources are available to you, your friends, neighbors, family, etc. And also that you will know what opportunities there are for you to volunteer, or perhaps, if the moment is right, to write a check, a charitable donation. We don't want you sending out charitable donation checks to just any old organization, because Lord knows we get lots of solicitations in the mail, via email, on the phone. Every single day I am solicited, but I will not make one donation unless I know that the organization to which I am making that donation is deserving of my hard-earned money. So you could be sure that any organization who appears on this show is deserving of your time as a volunteer and is deserving of your charitable donations, because I vet every single one of them, as you all know who are loyal listeners. Speaking of loyal listeners, many of our loyal listeners are maintaining resource notebooks. Why? So that you can be our resource in the community. And so you're writing down the name and phone number and web address and perhaps a few little lines of something else about the organization, so that when someone you know needs information, you say, wait, I'll go to my notebook. And today we have an organization who has been on before, but you might be a new listener, so I'm going to give you the information again, the contact information, and that is Westchester Disabled on the Move, Inc. And we have with us a very special guest today. We have returning with us Mel Tansman, who is the executive director and has been with the organization since 1999. He has a master's in social work from California State University, and he's been with us a number of times, and he is a dynamo. He is terrific, dedicated, hardworking, and we just love him. We love having him on. No one could be more dedicated. We also have with us Yao Adu Apiadu, who is the facilitated enroller for Medicaid aged blind or disabled, and he's been here a very long time, about a year.
A year and a half.
Oh, a year and a half. It's even longer.
Yep.
And and he has a master's of public health.
Yep.
And we also have with us today Rick Howie, who is a certified ACA. We're going to find out what that all means. Health Exchange Navigator. And he has an MBA and a CSA. And I'd like to welcome all three of you to Your Community in Action.
Happy to be here today, Arlene.
We're thrilled to have you. So you know what? Let's just go back a little bit for those who don't know. And I'm going to right now ask everybody to take pen in hand or pencil, whatever you have at home, and write down Westchester Disabled on the Move, 984 North Broadway, Suite LL10, Yonkers, New York, 10701. The phone number is 914-968-4717. The email is melt, M-E-L-T, at WDOM.org. If you want to go to the website, you could just go right to the website, www, of course, WDOM.org. So, Mel, give us a little history of Westchester Disabled on the Move. What is your mission and why are you in existence? Many of our listeners are temporarily abled. None of us are permanently abled. And we know that at any given moment, something could happen to cause us to be less than fully abled or temporarily disabled. What's the history of Westchester Disabled on the Move?
Well, Arlene, Westchester Disabled on the Move was founded in 1984, and we are an independent living center. That doesn't mean a place where people live. It means a place where people get information, advocacy, and benefits so they can live independently in their own apartments in the community. We're part of a network of 41 independent living centers throughout New York State, and we're very proud of the work we do because, to see a person with a disability being able to participate in their communities and in their workplaces, we're unique in that, although I got some able bodies or temporarily able bodies with me today, that we hire a lot of people with disabilities because we love doing the peer approach of advocacy. We like having people who have life experience with systems that people depend on to be there to assist, and they kind of match their professional background with their personal lives. So it's a very important, to keep people in the community. One of the things, I have a party every time I get somebody out of an institutional setting. It's very important to me. I'm very committed to it. I have been for the last 30 years. I've been at Westchester Disabled on the Move since '99, but I had a long history before that. One of the things I'm glad you had talked about, giving, because we are having an event. I just want to quickly mention that before we get into the substance here. Every year we have a Spirit of Independence Awards, and now we're doing it as a breakfast, and it's scheduled on October 6th, 2016, and it's early in the morning from 8:30 to 10:30 before work or, for those early risers. And this year we're having it at the Yonkers Riverfront Public Library, which is at 1 Larkin Center in Yonkers, and we're honoring a number of people. The person I'm most excited about honoring is one of our own. Scott Smith is a gentleman who was born with cerebral palsy. Yep. And he's been working for Westchester Disabled on the Move about 25 years. Yeah. And he's an indomitable force. He travels from Rockland County to come to work. He's been, through the years, probably our best attendance. And he's been our program director for, probably 8 to 10 years at least. And he's kind of phasing into retirement. So we thought it was time to give him an award because he epitomizes independent living. He is the symbol, he is the role model, and we're very excited about that. The other awardees I won't spend as much time on because I don't know them personally as well. Pat Quinn is a Yonkers resident who initiated the Ice Bucket Challenge. Oh. That went viral and raised millions, I think, of dollars for the I'm sorry. ALS. ALS, yes. Yeah, the ALS Association. And he's been very active with that. He is an individual who has ALS, and he's not, resting on his laurels. He's doing things. The person who's getting our Maureen Keating Tsuchiya, who was an advocate who was on our board. It's Advocate of the Year award. It's about 10 years since she passed away, and we had this award, is a mother of a disabled child named Pamela Dingy, who has dedicated her life not only for her son's independence, but for all young people with disabilities. And she also is a resident of Yonkers. And lastly, we have Act Now Taxi. They are a business, a corporate citizenship award. They work with the county to provide an alternative to paratransit. They are also a taxi company that provided the first accessible van for people with disabilities.
That's terrific.
As a cab.
Terrific. And I know that when we come back, we're going to remind everybody about that date again and the place. It's in Yonkers, October 6th. This is Arlene Salmon. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Business news at 20 past the hour. Here's the latest update from the Fox Business Network on 1460 WVOX.
From the Fox Business Network. Twitter shares are rising after a report that the company may be getting a takeover offer soon. Suitors are said to include Salesforce.com and Google, among others. There have been rumors for months that Twitter may be sold. Facebook shares are lower. One reason may be that big ad buyers and marketers are upset with the social media site after learning that Facebook overestimated the average viewing time for video ads on its platform for the past 2 years. Facebook has apologized. He owns a car company, he owns a space company, and later this month, Elon Musk will be speaking to the International Astronautical Congress about his boyhood dream, going to Mars. Musk will be talking about the technical challenges for colonizing the red planet. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
Summer is over, but the deals are heating up at Lumber Liquidators' end-of-quarter clearance sale. We're making room for new fall inventory. That means it's your chance to get an incredible deal on gorgeous pre-finished hardwood from just $149 per square foot. More than 30 varieties of beautiful bamboo from $129. Top quality North American and European laminate from just 39 cents. At least 20% off in-store closeout deals and more. Plus special financing. The end-of-quarter clearance sale's going on now at Lumber Liquidators. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you today.
You're listening to WVOX, Westchester's only townie radio station. Now the only live and local daily radio service. Actually home brewed and made fresh each day for you and yours. Right here at 1460 AM and worldwide at WVOX.com. Westchester's last truly local radio station, where many different voices are still heard in the land every day.
Is a much better radio station.
Now exclusively and truly in a class by itself, Westchester's legendary WVOX.
I love it.
America's great community station.
WVOX.
Once again, your community in action on 1460 WVOX with Arlene Salmon, former Westchester Director of the National Cancer Society and the Arthritis Foundation. Once again, here's Arlene Salmon.
Welcome back to your community in action here at WVOX 1460 on your AM dial and WVOX.com. Anywhere in the world, and you can click on Listen Live. We have with us today some very special guests from Westchester Disabled on the Move, which is a terrific organization providing services for those who are otherwise abled or temporarily or sometimes permanently disabled. But I like otherwise abled better. At any rate, we have with us Mel Tansman, who is the executive director. We have Yao Adu Apiadu, who is the facilitated enroller for Medicaid, aged, blind, or disabled. And we have Rick Howie, who is the certified ACA, which we still are going to tell you about, Health Exchange Navigator. So what I'd like to start with now, actually, is for Mel to tell us about a very special new initiative that's going on with Community Service Society in New York City, CSS. We'll just eliminate all the words from now on and just say CSS.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Arlene, we've always at Westchester Disabled on the Move known about the importance of health care, access to health care, not just primary care, but long-term care. And we've been fortunate in the last 2 or so years to be partnering with the Community Service Society, which is an independent voice for positive action on behalf of 3 million low-income New Yorkers. They have a 170-year history of providing services, some of which are related to healthcare, but that's not the only area. And it's an important program that they provide is we actually have 3 programs today we're going to mention that are funded by them. They get a grant through the Department of Health, and they have sub-grantees that cover different regions. And we're fortunate to have the Westchester, Putnam, and in some programs, Orange and Rockland County area to serve. It's an area that I've always been committed to. If you don't have good health care, if you don't have the services at home, you're not going to be able to stay at home. So it's exciting for us to partner with the Community Service Society and have such a well-respected, established agency. And the first program that I think we were going to talk about is to help people get onto Medicaid. And not just any people, we're talking about primarily people who are elderly, blind, or disabled. And that's the program that Yao, coordinates.
Yao, tell us about this program.
Okay, so basically this program actually offers assistance to people who are disabled, blind, or aged go through the Medicaid application process. So what we do is we assist them gather the required or the necessary documents to make the application complete. And then we help them through filling up the application, forwarding it to DSS. By the way, we also have a relationship with the DSS that we serve, that is Westchester, Putnam, Orange, and Rockland counties. It's kind of like a relationship that we have with them, that we send the applications to them directly, and then it speeds up the process for them. So what we do is, after gathering all the required documents, we forward the application to these the DSS, which are the consumer or the client might live in order for the DSS to make decision on the application. Okay, so DSS is the Department of Social Services, and they handle the Medicaid applications. So we just don't serve anyone. We serve people who are disabled, people who are blind, and people who are aged 65 years or older. And those who live in Westchester County could find us at in our office at 984 North Broadway, Suite lower level 10. You could call the office and set up an appointment, and we'll help you with the application process. We also cover the other 3 counties that I mentioned earlier on, Putnam, Orange, and Rockland County. So if you have friends and family members who live in any of the counties and they need help with Medicaid application, they can also call our number and we'll assist them with the application. We do home visits too. So because we serve the kind of population that we serve, we believe most of them might find it very difficult moving around, coming to the offices.
Not everybody is mobile.
Yes. So what we do is we go to their houses to help them with the application process. Sometimes we carry our scanners, help them scan the documents onto a computer, print it, just to make it very easy for them, because that is what the program is actually designed for.
Now, who are the people who go to the homes of those who can't get out?
I do go to the house myself.
Okay.
And then I have a colleague too that I work with, whose name is Lizette. Also,
so it's the staff.
The staff that goes to.
Do you ever need volunteers to be trained to do that, to assist you?
We really have to use our paid staff for that, because they get formal training through the Community Service Society, and basically get approved by the Department of Health.
So that means that if you are listening and you are someone who might need help, you can be absolutely guaranteed that the person coming into your home is a staff person from Westchester Disabled on the Move who has been fully trained and vetted.
And certified too.
And certified.
We're all kind of certifiable.
Well, let's not go to that area today.
The one thing I want to say is that a lot of your listeners are going to say, well, I have health insurance, I have Medicare. What do I need Medicaid for? Most people, until they become disabled and may need help at home, don't understand that the only way they may get it is through Medicaid for somebody coming into the house, providing home care, services. So we get a lot of people who never thought they were going to be on Medicaid. Let's say they have, $1,500 a month in income, like a Social Security check, and we help them walk through it.
So it's very important for you to be listening tentatively, because this is going to dispel some of the things that you thought were true that aren't. So this is Arlene Salmon saying don't go away, because we're talking with Westchester Disabled on the Move, and we're learning about those services that you might be interested in or that you know someone who might need. So don't go away. We'll be right back here at WVOX 1460 AM. If you want to call us, by the way, the number to call is 914-636-0110. O'Neill Bogle, I forgot to mention, is our engineer, and he's standing by to make sure you hear us, and if you call, that we hear you. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
With world and national news, here is the latest update from Fox News Radio on 1460 WVOX.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. Video from the wife of the man shot and killed by police in Charlotte, North Carolina has now been posted by the New York Times. You can't see the shooting, but you can hear gunshots and Keith Scott's wife saying he doesn't have a gun. Police Chief Kerr Putney says he expects officers' video of the shooting to be released sometime.
I was adamant I'm not going to put out one piece of evidence that could further inflame.
And the North Carolina Bureau of Investigation is now in charge. Last night's protests were less violent, and there's been an arrest in the fatal shooting of a protester Wednesday night. 162 migrants' bodies are recovered.
Fishing boats bringing bodies to a port in Egypt. Some of the 450 or so people aboard a vessel that sank about 7 miles off the coast. Around 150 people survived, while many of the dead unable to swim away from the wreckage.
Fox's Alistair Wanklin. Fox News, we report. You decide.
When we think of a college campus, we imagine a safe place where young minds can grow both academically and socially. But for some college students, there's an ugly truth about the social scene. Sexual assaults on campus are happening with alarming frequency. Acquaintance rape is a violent crime that too often goes unreported. If you were a victim, report it immediately. Sexual assault on college campuses is happening, and it's time for all of us to stand up and say enough is enough. For more information, visit troopers.ny.gov, sponsored by the New York State Police.
I take lots of people to the airport, and some are concerned about the Zika virus. So I tell them what I hear on the news. If you're traveling abroad, you need to be careful. And if you're pregnant, you need to be extra careful. All the information is available on the New York State website, including information on how to get free available testing. Go to ny.gov/Zika and be safe this summer.
Sponsored by the New York State Department of Health in association with the New York State Broadcasters Association.
In the north end of New Rochelle, you'll find an absolutely top-notch printer, one of the very best in the entire county. Frank Michelli's Minuteman Press is known for its fine work far beyond the Sound Shore area. In fact, this particular Minuteman Press is certainly the class of the fleet when it comes to full-service community printing. Located just off North Avenue in New Rochelle in the narrow Waikagill walkway across the parking lot from Acme, Frank Michelli's Minuteman Press is a terrific resource for individual and small to medium-sized companies who want something very special when it comes to printing. No matter how big or how small your needs, you get the skill and craftsmanship of Maestro Michelli's master printers, all at very reasonable prices. From business cards to brochures, color copies, high-speed printing, individual booklets and flyers, it's Minuteman Press. down that walkway when you're heading to Acme, offering quality printing at very good prices. Call Frank Michelli at Minuteman Press of New Rochelle, 914-576-0335, 914-576-0335.
Hello, I'm Dr. Victor Sternberg. On each and every Friday at 9 a.m., my show, Politics and Your Health, will focus on dentistry, medicine, and most importantly, the prevention of diseases. The economics of healthcare will be discussed at length so you can make intelligent, prudent choices. That's Friday at 9 a.m., Politics and Your Health, with me, Dr. Victor Sternberg. I'll be waiting to hear from you.
And now with your latest up-to-date forecast, here's Steve Pelletieri's Eye on Weather on 1460 WVOX.
Our forecast for Westchester, a mostly sunny afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-80s for your Friday. Tonight, mostly cloudy, some scattered showers or an isolated thunderstorm is possible. Overnight, low temperatures 57 to 62. Partial sun in the morning on Saturday, mostly sunny in the afternoon. Our highs for the day will range into the lower 70s. At night, mostly clear and cooler upper 40s. Sunday, sunshine in the upper 60s. Monday, sunny upper 60s to near 70. I'm meteorologist Steve Pelletieri for 1460 WVOX.
Bob Marone in the morning, Fred Dicker in the afternoon, and so much more in between. We're the station where so many different voices are heard every day. 1460 WVOX.
Once again, your community in action on 1460 WVOX with Arlene Salmon, former Westchester Director of the National Cancer Society and the Arthritis Foundation. Once again, here's Arlene Salmon.
Welcome back to your community in action here at WVOX 1460 on your AM dial and www.wvox.com anywhere in the world. If you want to call and ask a question or share an experience, you can call us at 914-636-0110. We're talking with Mel Tansman, Yawa Duapiadu, and Rick Howie. Well, actually, we're not talking with Rick yet, but we will, I promise you. So, Yao, what else do you want to say about this very special program that you're involved
in? Yeah. With the Facilitated Enrollment Program, my organization, the organization I work with, WDOMI, also goes extra step to help consumers who make more than their allowable income and who might have spent down after being eligible for Medicaid, to assist them with the pool trust application. So what we do is when someone comes to the office and then is approved of Medicaid with a spend down, most of the time they don't know what to do. They either do not want to participate in Medicaid again, or they just hit a roadblock. But what we do is we advise them on the other programs that might help them to shelter their income and still be eligible for Medicaid. Mm-hmm. And we take them through, advise them on the pool trust application, its benefit, and how they can do it to shelter their income. So we also gather the documents that they need and also fill it up. Depending on the pool trust agency that they choose, make sure that their paperwork are correct, mail it out for them, and then they can participate in the being eligible for Medicaid, sheltering their income, and also having a trust account set outside for them to shelter their income.
You know, so it sounds to me that even if someone is concerned and nervous and doesn't know what to do, they need not be, because you can hold their hands.
Yes, please.
All right. Mm-hmm. That sounds very good. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? We have so much more that we could say about this program, mm-hmm. but we don't have the necessary time to really go into anything in depth. So we're going to go talk now about the Independent Consumer Advocacy Network, which is dealing with long-term care issues. Mr. Mel, take it away.
I'm going to make it real brief because we do want to talk about the Navigator program as well. Mm-hmm. When a person is on Medicaid and they get long-term care services, which may mean help in the home, maybe a skilled nursing visit, but mostly hands-on, help with housekeeping, sometimes bathing, dressing, all of that. Right now, most of the people getting that, it's been privatized in the last 2 years, meaning it used to be from agencies that had a contract with the county. Mm-hmm. Now there are these managed long-term care companies that have taken over, and some of them are really good, but other times there are conflicts between the consumer and their company. And maybe they're trying to cut the hours, they're not giving them enough hours. People who have that kind of conflict can come to us and we can negotiate with the managed care company.
Mhm.
And if they're not able to negotiate or if they're not willing to negotiate, we can even represent these individuals at a fair hearing.
That is fabulous.
Yep. And to me, this is something that our agency has done for many, many years. But we finally have, through the state of New York, Department of Health, and through CSS, the funding stream to actually do this effectively. I have an attorney on staff who will go to fair hearings, 2 very dedicated staff, and if anybody has a problem with long-term care, whether it's managed long-term care or whether it's the county, please just give us a call. Maybe you need a piece of equipment that they're not providing. Maybe they're trying, you need more hours of home care, or maybe you need, you want to be enrolled in a adult day health care center and want the managed care plan to cover it. All of those things are issues that we can deal with. Anything that has to do with community-based long-term care, come to us. It really goes hand in hand with Yao's program because people first get onto Medicaid and then they have to get the services through Medicaid. So, there is an interlap, or I'm sorry, they really do serve some of the same people at different phases of their lives.
This is such a terrific thing that you're offering, because I have to tell you, based on some of my other volunteer work, I hear from people how much trouble they have with long-term care. A, they don't know what they're really entitled to get. B, when they think that they are deserving of a particular type of long-term care, they have to fight for it. And some people are paying premiums for years to have long-term care insurance, and then when they need it, they're not getting what they need. So it's nice to know that there is an organization like yours, Westchester Disabled on the Move, who is willing to pitch in and help them at least to understand what their rights are, and if necessary to advocate for them. And if you want to call 968-4717 is the phone number, 914 is the area code, 968-4717, and Westchester Disabled on the Move will be happy to try to help you, guide you, or if necessary, fight for you. So, Rick, let's turn to you now, and let's talk about this health navigator. Is that someone who's navigating a ship that's based on health? What's a health navigator?
Well, first off, there's a lot of confusion around the title. It's the ACA is the Affordable Care Act. A lot of people know it as Obamacare. It's one and the same. What we do is we help people navigate the New York State of Health process to get health insurance. And it's been pretty effective. I mean, we've got, the latest numbers I've seen are we've enrolled 2.8 million New Yorkers. 850,000 of those were previously uninsured. So there's a lot of people that have taken advantage of this. And people at this time of the year, it's now September, and people that come to us usually have the following questions. Can I get medical insurance now? What are the tax penalties for not being covered? And I'm paying too much. Can you help me lower my premiums? And these are all the kinds of issues we deal with. So, for instance, can I get medical insurance now? Well, it depends on a couple of things. We're not in open enrollment, but there are, for instance, if you make less than $23,000 as an individual, $32,000 as a couple, or $40,000 as a family, we can get you covered for low cost or no cost. If you just lost your health insurance, we can get you enrolled. If you just moved into the area or just got married, I mean, there's numerous exceptions that we can work with and we will work with. And again, our role is to advocate on your behalf to get you covered. And then the penalties, if you're not covered, as part of the law, you will get a penalty from the IRS, a single person, $695. This is for not being covered, and you still don't have coverage.
That is so amazing that you will be penalized for not having health coverage.
It's part of the law, and there are valid reasons for that. which I don't think we have time to get into, but it's $695 per adult plus $347 per child, prorated for the number of months you're not covered. But the big issue is if you're not covered, you're setting yourself up for a financial catastrophe, especially young people.
And medical catastrophe in some cases.
Well, but it can turn into a medical catastrophe, can turn into a financial catastrophe. I've had people, one example is I had a 26-year-old man come into me, and obviously I can't say any names, and I won't, but he came down he had aged out of his parents' policy and come down with appendicitis. Went into the emergency room, and they took his appendix out and then gave him a bill for about $15,000 once all was said and done, which he had to pay for.
Oh my.
Whereas if he'd have come to one of us or gone through the process himself, he could have avoided all of that. He would have been covered.
That's horrible. But it's good that you have these wonderful programs, and we're going to talk more when we come back. We're taking another break. This is Arlene Salmon with Mel Pansman, Yao Adu Apiadu, and Rick Howie, all from Westchester Disabled on the Move, which as you are listening, you hear that it's not just dealing with people who have certain disabilities. Certain of the programs here deal with anyone who has a need. So stay tuned and don't go away. We're here at WVOX 1460 AM and WVOX.com. Call us at 914-636-0110. We'll be right back.
With world and national news, here is the latest update from Fox News Radio on 1460 WVOX.
Fox News Radio, I'm Milene Wu. There will be another midnight curfew for Charlotte, North Carolina, where demonstrators have been protesting a police shooting death, pressuring officials to let them see footage of the killing.
Charlotte's Police Chief Kerr Putney again said the department will not release the video recordings they have showing the officer shooting Keith Lamont Scott, saying the investigation is still ongoing.
Fox Radio's Evan Brown sentencing for the first person convicted in the U.S. of both computer hacking and terrorism charges. Ardit Faritzi getting 20 years.
The 20-year-old hacked into an online retailer and for months sifted through data in order to cull information about 1,000 federal workers. According to investigators, Faritzi turned the information over to a British-born ISIS propagandist, Junaid Hussein, who was based in Syria and shared the information widely among the Islamic State followers.
Fox's Catherine Herridge, Fox News. We report, you decide.
This is the sound of a brand new outdoor grill being hurled off a 20-story building. Now a stylish glass coffee table. An electric guitar. These are the things you could enjoy, all cast into oblivion. Because when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Visit EnergySavers.gov and get tips on how to save energy and money. Then do things like switch to Energy Star light bulbs or Energy Star appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. So this doesn't happen to the recliner you've had your eye on, or this to the treadmill on your wish list, or this to the shiny new bike your kid's been asking for. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Small business is taking off in New York State. Do you dream about starting your own business? Last year, more than 59,000 new businesses were started in New York, creating over 220,000 new jobs. And thanks to the SBDC, it's easier than ever to start and grow your business. Just visit nysbdc.org and let the SBDC help build your future today.
Funded in part through a cooperative agreement between the U.S. SBA, SUNY, and New York State. Find us on the web at nysbdc.org, sponsored by the New York Small Business Development Center.
Family Financial NY has helped families and individuals in time of financial stress. What happens when a family member all of a sudden needs assistance? The first question that comes to mind is, how are we going to pay the expenses? Family Financial NY is here to help develop a plan. Joe Soricelli of Family Financial NY is a certified Medicaid planner and an accredited investment fiduciary. He will help determine if the family member is eligible or can eventually be eligible for Medicaid assistance or other programs. Contact Joe Soricelli at 914-468-0186. 914-468-0186 to set up a no-obligation interview to discuss your concern. Securities offered through LPL Financial. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Any examples hypothetical and are not representative of any specific situation. Actual results will vary.
1460 WVOX is Westchester's only remaining local station and Westchester's only source for daily local radio news updates. Listen to 1460 WVOX local news each morning with Bob Marone on Good Morning Westchester, brought to you by New York Presbyterian Lawrence Hospital.
Westchester's last remaining local community station. This is the one and only 1460 WVOX.
WVOX. Once again, your community in action on 1460 WVOX with Arlene Selman, former Westchester Director of the National Cancer Society and the Arthritis Foundation. Once again, here's Arlene Selman.
Welcome back to your community in action here at WVOX 1460 AM and WVOX.com. Our guests today are Mel Tansman, Yawadu Apiadu, and Rick Howie from Westchester Disabled on the Move, which I didn't realize is basically a misnomer because you're helping a lot of people who are not necessarily disabled currently. But as I said early on in the show, all of us could have things change tomorrow. You are temporarily able-bodied, but nobody knows what tomorrow will bring in health, in your well-being, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. Nobody knows about tomorrow. So thank goodness we have an organization like this, Westchester Disabled on the Move, which in of itself is another misnomer because you're dealing now with other counties besides Westchester, right? Yeah. So, boy, am I saying a lot of misnomer things today. So let's go back to Rick. Rick, tell us more about this program with the Health Navigator.
Well, one thing I'd like to emphasize is the Healthcare Navigator program is the one program we have at our agency that's open to all New Yorkers, regardless of their disability status. And in fact, probably the overwhelming majority of the people that we help, I have no disability at the time. So we're open, available, and we do help all New Yorkers, regardless of their disability status.
The disability may be that they don't know how to navigate the system.
Yeah. Basically, if you're not covered, call 914-968-4717 and call 968-4717 and ask to make an appointment.
And by the way, I think it's the system that is disabled and not the individual. Systems should be navigable.
Absolutely right. Press 1 if you could figure out how to navigate the system. Press 2 if you don't know what the system is even asking you to do.
No, and I just also wanted to say that we serve the following locations. We do in-person assistance to people. We have 2 locations in Putnam County, the Putnam Community Services and Putnam Workforce. And then we do the Mount Vernon Library at 28 South First Avenue, the Peekskill Department of Labor. We do the Westchester Disabled on the Move, which is our own office at 984 North Broadway in Yonkers. We service the White Plains One Stop, and we service the Yonkers Will Library.
I think you're very well represented throughout the county, and that's terrific, and in Putnam. And I think that people who need your help should really avail themselves of that help, because I know when I have to deal with just the normal day-to-day bureaucracy, if you will, it's daunting, it's overwhelming, and you start to put things off because you're in a state of panic, and then all of a sudden you can't put things off anymore. Now you're really in a state of panic, but you don't need to be. If you call Westchester Disabled on the Move, they'll be happy to help you and happy to put you in the right direction.
In fact, a lot of the people that we get are people that started the process on their own and get stuck, and we get them unstuck.
Stuck and panicked, because panic is the next thing after getting stuck. So, Mel.
Yes.
What else are we going to tell our listeners about Westchester Disabled on the Move's programs and services and your future goals? You've done so much. You've accomplished so much in getting Westchester for sure to have better parking for those who are disabled, to have restaurants more accessible, to allow people to vote. We ask people to vote, and then we don't give them access to the voting booth. You've worked on that. You've gotten curbs to be changed so that people who are in wheelchairs or who are not able to lift legs to climb up over a curb, you've gotten those taken care of. What are some of your goals for the future?
Well, one of the things you're talking about, Arlene, I think are really important, and it underlines that we've talked about services here today, but we're also an advocacy organization that looks at where things may need to change on a system-wide basis. So if a business or a shopping center isn't accessible, somebody may make a complaint, or sometimes the businesses will come to us because it's beneficial for them to be able to reach a broader market, more consumers. People with disabilities, although many are on fixed income, still do spend money. And so I think we are a resource to the community. The areas that we focus on a lot around our advocacy have to do with housing, only because so many people are on fixed incomes, and I know how expensive it is to live in Westchester County. We're working with our towns. In Yonkers, we're trying to do an initiative where some of the affordable housing that they have under law be set aside for people with disabilities. We're trying to make sure that if there's like emergencies, like disasters or hurricanes, that people with disabilities are adequately served and know how to get out there. So it's a combination of dealing with individual problems, but also recognizing when those individual problems are broader, where we need to address the business community about hiring more people with disabilities or providing access to their businesses for people with disabilities. Those are key to what we do. We try to talk with people and work out problems, but I'll be honest with you, at times, sometimes, a lawyer and litigation forces the issue. Right. And we like to avoid that, and we will collaborate and work with businesses, the counties, the cities, to make sure that people with disabilities are playing on a level playing field. Okay? That people who are homeless who are disabled get appropriately placed, that people who are disabled are, considered as employees. I want to say very strongly, as a person who hires a lot of employees with disabilities, that businesses need to understand that these are adaptable people. They are people who are dedicated because they know the value of having a job, and very often they can be very loyal
absolutely.
To the job.
Resourceful, too.
Resourceful and adaptable is what I was getting at there. People have had to negotiate and overcome barriers to live independently, and they'll use those same skills in the workplace.
Absolutely. And I've met a few business owners who tell me that when they have someone who comes to work for them who is otherwise abled, as opposed to disabled, that's my term,
cool.
Otherwise able, that they are often better employees because, first of all, they appreciate having the job, and they're not resenting coming to work on a particular day for a number of hours. They're thrilled to be there. They're good with the people they work with. They're doing a very good job. They're proud of being able to do a good job, and the employer is very thrilled to have them as an employee. So, it's so important. And something else is important. One of the focuses of this show is to get our listeners to understand the need for volunteerism and also the need to give back in other ways, such as by writing either an annual or semi-annual or monthly or whatever they do, however they work it out, check. And I know that you need both. You need volunteers you need individual donations, and you also need corporate support in the way of partnerships.
Mhm.
So why don't you talk about some of those needs before we have to go off
Sure.
there?
In terms of volunteering, well, one key area is we always want talented and committed individuals who want to serve on our board, which provides kind of oversight of our programs and have a fiduciary role in terms of making sure our organization is viable, that we can be there not only this year, but 20 years, 30 years, 40 years from now. And we are always looking for partners in the business community. We've had a lot of success with partnering with groups like businesses like ShopRite, which has done point of sale, contributions for our organization. I hear the music coming, so I want to tell people to learn a little bit more about us by joining us at the Spirit of Independence Awards Breakfast. Once again, it's October 6th, and it's at the Yonkers Riverside Library, right by the train station there. So it's easy access, and you'll learn from our staff, you'll learn from our awardees, and
You'll
I
have a
think
good
it'll be a
time.
great time. Yep.
968-4717 if you want to call to get an invitation, or if you want to volunteer, or you want to make a donation and want to refresh. So, stay tuned for our next show. I thank you so much to Mel.
Thank you.
And to Yao and
Thanks.
to Rick for being with us today, and thank you all for listening. And
Westchester's
thank
last
you.
remaining local community station, 1460 WVOX and WVIP HD2, New Rochelle.